What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. I think we're reaching the top, the height of online WCQ hype thanks to the Weds. Yes, there's still Battles of Legend, but for people placing their online orders getting ready for the event, I don't know how much hotter the market can get. So let's go ahead and cover more techs that got bought out from the Weds, yes, and then QCR watch, because a lot of those have been getting bought out too. Black Goat Laughs was in a couple of side decks and was already bought out for Labyrinth hype before, but here we see the secret rare really taking off in price. Only one top rated seller around 36 before it's $40, and the sales are certainly up there too, with one even flying at 44, but you can see most sold out around 25 to 30. The QCR itself is also very out, with only 6 listings on the market. Solemn Warning was in 4 of the, I believe, side decks. I would have to double check, but the QCR is going also as an anti-Dragon Tail measure, but mainly right now it's pretty good at stopping stuff like ritual cards. So this QCR is actually not for past formats for once, but going way up and out, $25 versus the 7-ish it used to be for the current format and potential for future. And the ultimate rare is up even further. First edition near mint now lowest around 120. I think I saw one sale around 100 when looking through for actual near mints. Oh, actually it's hit 120. I scrolled back too far while looking for unlims, and so multiple sales really up here on Ulti Solemn Warning. People are feeling it. Allure of Darkness found its way into 6 of the list from the YCS, and the QCR with that is starting to go back up pretty intensely, up towards $30. I always say never bet against draw cards, and while looking through all the versions, Platinum Secret, Ultimate, Collector, all of them out of Rarity Collection are money. So this is sticking some kind of landing in terms of all the versions. And at the very lowest end, still you have like towards a 50-cent card to some degree, but it has so many holographics. I would say get the version you really want out of a Rarity Collection, right? Although there is is that a prismatic secret or regular secret here out of the speed duels? It looks like a regular secret actually instead of prismatic. Some of the releases have prismatic, some have regulars, so I wouldn't necessarily double dip, but you do get that OCG card stock quality. Then you get the speed duel stamp that not everybody likes. Imperial Ironwall, speaking of Malice, was a tech that did appear, I think, in just one deck. So be aware that the holographics for this are money. They've been money for some time, but they are lower on listings, while the common is readily available along with the rares that have been printed in multiple modern side sets. Mulcharmy Meows, it is going way up for the QCR now, which the secret rare already went up, and that goes in that conversation we had in the last Market Watch. Where does a max rarity really land? Usually 3 to 3.5x, which is right where this has corrected itself up to, as the regular version headed towards 70. 3x would be, 210, so 3.5x would be actually still above some of these lowest ones, which are around $235, but quickly goes up towards 250, then freaking 300, and a lot of the sales are starting to come in around 230 to 235 as well, where you can see previously they were all sub 200 for the most part, a lot of 180s, some 160s, 150s last month. I think when it comes down to it, again, a lot of people want max rarity for their decks for the WCQ. They want to feel their best and have it really showing out in style, and that's where this goes in. But the second part of that is it'll fall out a little slower, as once round 1 starts in that room, the show is over, as a vendor once told me. It's just like the prices all go down from there. They're not wanting to buy into reprint season. You also know reprint season is coming. Megatins, what other collection Konami might be making. So again, that QCR, it's going to fall out a little slower and maintain a little more value, which is why people try to clamor for stuff like this. But speaking of getting a reprint and going back up, Chaos Angel is $40 for every version. This saw a good amount of play, I think 4 decks or so. I would have to double check, but this one sees its way to $40 for its 10 version as well as its OG, and only $50 for that ultimate rare, as OTS ultis remain very unhot. I would still probably pay that extra 10 going into a reprint season, even though this has already been in a 10 before. You could see it maybe as soon as Battles of Legends before the WCQ. That is a possibility, so do keep in mind that there's places this could get put, as people were really upset this didn't get a QCR, but I could see a Starlight inbound somewhere too. Dark Magician Girl is getting a little buyout for the QCR. I was looking through Stampede, it's still relatively down, but there's so many QCR buyouts everywhere else. Dark Magician Girl is going back towards 100, trying to fight Blue Eyes to some degree. Blue Eyes has a stable lead towards 150, and Engage is actually ahead of her as well. But a re-buyout of this card's happening. DD Swirl Slime, as DDD gets a couple of new cards in the future. Its QCR is now going crazy. The Platinum Secret's basically still bulk if you want a cheap version using that TCG player link in the description down below, costing you nothing extra. Support the channel directly for the cards you'd already be buying. That looks pretty good. But there's also the OTS Super, which has gone down well under $1, and there aren't all those extra holos because this is somehow nostalgic at this point. I'm so old. It is like almost a decade ago, isn't it? Cyber Dragons OG are now an actually old card in my head. This one debuted in a duels pack as a rare that's still money. You can see here it is coming up solidly and is now at $40 lowest for its QCR, and has sales through the actual range and got bought out at the $30 mark. You also have its ultimate rare doing a similar graph here and headed towards 60. And the Ghost, which a lot of people aren't wanting to buy online because of the quality control versus haggling on what actually is near mint versus scratches on the picture, you want to shop these in person in my opinion. It's towards $50 here from $45. So Cyber Dragon trending up a lot. I was told in the Discord the new support doesn't seem that good. I would have to reread it, but the fact that I've glossed it over instead of going pog on it, like, I do feel that it's probably getting a little overhyped, but Cyber Dragon has places in past formats. It's definitely a signature card that comes back into modern metagames, and I do think it's not the worst choice in the world if you get in cheaper, but when you actually have the chance to get super cheap and then all the QCR spikes happen, that's where you really want to be, isn't it? Versus these secondary buyouts into third buyouts on a ton of these cards. I did have an interesting comment before we get to this one. In the comment section, somebody was pointing out how they have a binder full of them and they're kind of like, where am I going to go with this? I'm a bit nervous, but some of these were so cheap and it's such an impressive binder, that kind of stuff. It really just depends when you got in on it. Like, if you got in early, how much more is it going to fall out versus a Starlight? It could get wrecked to some degree, but it still has the QCR stamp. And I do think if you got in at a good price, it's up to you. Are you looking for profit or are you looking for shiny cards that you feel good having? It's not always going to be a logical decision with cardboard. I have a lot of things I probably should have sold long ago that I'm hoarding on to just because I love them, or like the bulk mines I'm too lazy to get to. So, you know, cardboard investing, it's not logical. You shouldn't be doing it logically necessarily all the time. I eat my own supply. Like when I was vendor man, I would like set aside 1% of all profits as keeps. It would help motivate me, and having that motivation and keeping things fun is part of it if you are vendor man. But if you're collector man, there's already not logic because you are getting things to hold on to, right? Like, it's not all a value game. It's about trying to get in at what you want at a better price when you're a collector man. Speaking of branded stuff, they can't help themselves on spiking their cards. This has gone from $7 towards almost $20. Somebody in the Discord said they can't help but paying $20 for this cards, and that was a throwback to me. Oh man, when this was like a $20 super rare, that was crazy. Daigusto Emerald's interesting because its QCR has a bit of a double down buyout. You might recall we featured this before getting bought out at one point. And you can see it actually came back down. I believe this is for redo format, which is getting a little more popular. And you can see it came back down to 10 from all these 12, 13s, even a $15 sale here before, 16, 12. So it had its moment. It came back down, and now it's getting a double down buyout and is back towards $18 with, towards the top of the graph, some sales ranging back into the 15s once again, which were towards the max for this card. There's tons of nice versions, though. Madolche Quarter Century Secret Rares. Tiramisu's out of a Battles of Legend, so it's harder to get and has faced like its 5th buyout at this time. You've got to remember with Battles of Legend, people keep pushing this because they're easy to make the quantities disappear even if the price is harder. So you can see last month we had sales at 45 and then it clambers up towards 60. Now one at 130 in the panic. Oof, whoever did that. But in my opinion, it'll come back down a little bit. And the others are at a really good offering, being that Stampede has a lot of cards that just went back down in price. I think it's a pretty good time to be looking at these, because when I was a vendor, these commons were always money, always on buy list, and it was super popular. I talked about these, Ghost Tricks, and others in the past. This is one of those, and this is the shiniest, nicest versions of them, and I think they could be for a very, very long time. So you might want to consider these sooner than later. And while we're doing suggestions, the collector rare Retieri is nothing but down. I liked it at 10. I still like it at 7. Maybe I'm just wrong, but this super is plenty populated. The collector rare is not going to outdo, say, the secret, but I think it outdoes the rare and the super. So this is a super nice mid-max version that is oh so cheap. At least in my opinion. Let me know what you think. But I think Maze isn't going to get opened too much, and while there's 70 of these around, it's something I would slowly trade for. It's not something I would rush to buy out or run out with my wallet. I'd be looking for them in trades and getting them thrown in at a cheaper value and getting a stack slowly of them at, you know, like, oh, would you throw that in for 5? Or that kind of thing, you know, when it's a $7 card. Like deal finishers, as it were. I think that this is a pretty good one to just slowly pick up. That's my opinion on it. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these conversations. And reminiscing of the Vendor Man days, I don't miss the sorting. I don't miss the office work. It's so much repetition. The cool part is going out to events, hanging out with friends, doing deals, that sort of stuff. And then it's the monotony of sitting in front of trash TV that you don't have to pay full attention to, but can tune back into any time while going A, B, C, D, E, F, G with your cards and triple sorting by set, by rarity, by spell, trap, monster, however you're sorting your system. But there's a lot about vending I don't miss, even if I do reminisce about the good times. I am very thankful to be able to do YouTube full-time. Thanks to y'all and the support. I super appreciate it.